The Premier League are not ready for Alexander Isak to Liverpool. People, let's dive into it. So, we're starting off with some big news for Isak. So this is what came out from the Times. Liverpool have the funds to test Newcastle's resolve for Alexander Isak despite the equation of foreign verts for a British transfer record fee that could rise up to 160 million, and spending that has already reached 200 million. Well, that is incorrect because it's about 180. Newcastle have concerned an offer could be made early next month to Isak, who has scored 62 goals in 3 seasons since his £63 million move from Real Sociedad. So it's looking like Liverpool could potentially be bidding for Isak. And the reason as to why I believe that is going to happen is because simply Isak is looking like he's open to a move. And once a player is open to a move, that's when the floodgates start to open. Alexander Isak is open to a Liverpool move. The chance to compete for major honours and feature in the Champions League season after season is hugely tempting for the Sweden international. And that is exactly why I believe we have a chance. Simply due to the fact of we can offer him Champions League football year in and out. Will Newcastle get Champions League football next season? Are they going to compete for a cup again? Liverpool, they're competing for Champions Leagues. They compete for Premier Leagues, the Cups, and Champions League football year in year out. And that is something that Liverpool can offer him. He's coming into near enough his prime age in the next year or two, so he's got a decision to make. Does he want to continue the project at Newcastle? Is he happy there? Or will he be open to really coming to Anfield? According to the reports, he is open to a move. There was also talks that Newcastle want to offer him a new contract, but the Daily Mirror have said the problem is that given Isak a numerous new contract threatens the stability of the dressing room. If they give Isak a club record contract, then the likes of Guillem Reich, Tenali may come calling, asking why aren't they earning similar amounts. Now, there are obviously players that deserve big wages as well, rightly so, for seasons they've had at Newcastle. But it's going to be interesting because I think he's on 120 grand a week at Newcastle right now. To break their record, I think it's 150. I think he might reject that. If I'm really, truly being honest, I think he might genuinely reject that. And another reason why I keep thinking there's more and more of a chance is the fact that Richard Hughes did come and say this, that no Premier League club is ready for what we are coming up with next season. I prefer not to speak. And he's not lying. He's not lying at all. He's improved the right back area in Jeremy Frimpong. He's helped him massively improve that left back position in Milos Kerkez. And he's just brought in one of the best 10s in world football. So he's not like he's just chatting utter rubbish. The fact that he has literally said, that Liverpool are willing to do the business. They are willing to do it. And the fact that now Liverpool are potentially making a bid, and is this news coming out now because we are coming to the end of June. It is going to be July in a week today. It is 2nd of July. So it is now this story starting to heat up, similar to the Florian Wirtz situation, because we've not had no Liverpool journos speak about the situation. We've not had no one from Newcastle speaking about the situation. Surely they would want to shut down that situation. They've not shut it down. All they've done is said, potentially we are worried about Liverpool. Potentially we might have to give Isak that new contract to steer him away from potentially not going to Anfield. And you've seen yesterday they're trying to bid for players like Langer, 45 million. Instant bids are getting rejected. A lot of things are kind of going wrong over at Newcastle. And this is where Liverpool have to pounce on the deal. I've always said Liverpool will need Isak to play a part in this deal, in him. if he pushes for it, if he says, look, let me go, I can't, I've brought you guys your first trophy in 70 years, I've got you Champions League football, use that money from the Champions League football, use this money of over 100 to 150 million pounds to really invest back in the squad. And apparently if it was to sell Isak, their PSR issues will all flood away. They won't have to worry. They can go and spend a couple 100 million to really improve the squad overall and balance it, to go and get maybe a back-to-back Carabao Cups, go and get Champions League football. This is Newcastle's Coutinho moment. You don't want to sell him, but in the longer run, it's going to help you. You can use that money to go and get 2, 3, 4 players to take you from that level to that level. And in the longer term, it's going to be beneficial for you, and it's going to be more beneficial for your PSR reasons. It's going to be more beneficial for your sustainability and to allow you to spend more money. So I think keeping an eye out on Newcastle's transfer targets is going to be interesting. If they are being linked with strikers, if they are being linked with whoever is going to possibly replace Alexander Isak. For me, this deal would have to happen in July. Mainly due to the fact of pre-season, clubs would want their players in. If Newcastle was to sell Isak, they would probably want to go and get 2, 3 players to replace him, upgrade at certain areas. So I've been consistent. July is a huge month between Liverpool and Newcastle, because I do think in the month of July we would have to go and sort out our strikers position. Newcastle would have to sort out what's going on with Isak. And it's going to be really interesting to see what Newcastle do decide to do, because if he rejects that contract, floodgates are open, and that move to Liverpool is certainly on. I feel the deal is on, in my opinion, mainly due to the fact of there is a real possibility that this guy can become a Liverpool player. I really do. And if he does, it is game over in the Premier League. Liverpool are winning back-to-back. Liverpool are going to compete for that Champions League, potentially a treble that a lot of people try and beat us stick with. Oh, you've never won the treble, this and that. Isak takes us from becoming Premier League champions to becoming back-to-back, to becoming with a Champions League and a Premier League in a season. So it's massive money floating around. And I do think the next week or two is going to be massive. I think Liverpool right now are going to be focusing on the outgoings. Inya Harvey, Darwin Núñez, Chiesas, get those 3, 4 players out the door. And then that's when I think the news around Isak could certainly heat up. Will Liverpool test the waters? I think Liverpool will test the waters, because there's no one shut it down yet. No one from England, correspondents on Newcastle or Liverpool side, journalists or anyone has shut down this story. And that is why it's suggesting Newcastle, will they sell Isak? I guess we are going to have to find out. People, smash the likes, subscribe if you are new. Take care, and goodbye.